Yeah. Michael.
Good morning, everyone. We are here with a presentation for Mike Schmidt. He is the father of 6, grandfather of 9. And what he says is, please no more because Christmas is getting expensive. And at his age, education doesn't matter because he has a bunch of experience. And his goal is to continue to research new technology to help lower the cost of structural repairs. Today is some of the ideas that he will be presenting. Take it away, Mike.
Thank you. As you can see from the first slide here, yeah, foundation repairs, water mitigation, those are our specialties. As you know, I'm always the master of cheesy lines. Just because it's cracked doesn't always mean it's broken. Okay, don't allow yourself to be fear-mongered when it comes to foundation repairs. Yes, I do have 6 kids and 9 grandkids. I also have, we do a lot of animal rescue, so we do have 6 animals in the house right now, not including any of the children. I'm also a part-time radio DJ. Yes, I do have tattoos. I have a lot of hobbies because I've got the attention span of a gnat. So if I'm not staying busy with something, I drive everybody else nuts more than usual. And I do love to restore vintage stereo equipment. And I have 2 music rooms in my house, and I have about 2,000 vinyl albums currently in my collection. So real quick, we'll just discuss the foundation types. Beam on grade is probably one of the most new and most common types of foundation. Basically, your house floats on concrete piers. You usually know you have a house like that when you have a wooden floor in the basement and a subcrawl. It is one of the most effective ways to deal with the movement that we have here in Colorado. Spread footing is basically that. It's just where your foundation sits directly on top of a small concrete slab all the way around. And intermittent spread footing was a way to compensate for movement. Unfortunately, it was a very big failure, and we end up having to fix a lot of them. The drilled concrete pier, and then the slab, which is the ultimate worst one to have. If you've ever experienced what they call the Hoffman homes up in North Denver, right by Thornton, they are extremely difficult to fix and very expensive to fix, and most of them probably should be torn down and start over again. And then post-tension is typically what you'll see on commercial buildings. And they have these huge cables inside the concrete that are under extreme tension, and that's what holds it together. Unfortunately, when they fail, it's catastrophic. I mean, very, very dangerous when they fail. Movement types, heave means up, settlement means down. Lateral means the walls are coming in. There's 2 types of lateral. There's the lean, and then there is what I call the belly break, where it breaks in the middle and it starts to go in like that. And those are the most common types of movement here in Colorado. Repair types. Helical piers are basically, if you look in the upper left-hand corner, you see the tall steel sticking out of the ground. Okay, what it is it's a huge steel shaft with a big blade on the bottom of it, like a corkscrew, and it goes down 20 to 25 feet in the ground, and then a big bracket gets attached to the side of the foundation, and that's what holds your building from moving up or down. Wall anchors is basically for the lateral movement. So on the bottom left-hand corner there, you'll see it. And what it does is it uses the virgin soil with a plate and another plate on the inside, and it compacts the wall to tighter against the dirt so that it won't move any further. Helical tiebacks is basically a wall anchor on steroids. All right, and it's extremely expensive, and it's only used in real extreme cases because of the cost. And I need at least 25 feet outside your wall to be able to do that. And most foundations on homes don't have that. So again, it's an extreme measure. Counterforts is basically a perpendicular wall that is built on the outside of the foundation, and it holds the house again the wall from rotating in. Carbon fiber is one of the technologies I'm going to talk about in the new stuff. And if you look in the upper right hand corner, you'll see it looks like a black grid. Carbon fiber is 10 times stronger than steel. It's about 4 pieces of paper thick. It's about half the cost of traditional methods of stabilizing walls, especially old brick walls and old block walls. It's a wonderful technology. We use it for commercial and residential repairs. And obviously the big one, which, when people ask me, what do? I lift buildings. Well, I lift buildings because I can replace an entire foundation while the building's hanging above it. And it's scary, and that's why I have so much gray hair. And then foam injections. We now have a commercial grade foam that we can actually lift a building up with it. It's the same stuff they use on concrete runways for international airports. So we always figure if it's good for landing a 747, it's good for your house. So foam injection, let's talk about it. What it does basically is it creates another foundation under your foundation. So what it does is it fills in all the voids and all the areas underneath your building. And because it's extremely hydrophobic, it pushes all the water away from your building. And that is a big factor here in Colorado because we have so much groundwater. All right. It's very effective. It's about, I say, half to 60% of the cost of traditional repair methods. And this is one of my big things as you get to know me is I'm always looking for products that will help save a customer money because my repairs are expensive. My average repair is about $30,000, and that's not chump change. And most people don't have that in their pocket. So, and if they do need it, Chris can help you get a HELOC for that. All right, so we can inject down to as deep as 30 feet into the ground with this foam. And typically we just stabilize it, but in some situations where an engineer will call it out, they'll actually require us to pick the building up, and we can move up to a 6-story building with that. Carbon fiber stitching now has become a big replacement for epoxy injection. Epoxy injection is strong, carbon fiber is stronger. And what it does basically, like it shows there, is we cut a small groove into the concrete, and then we put this low viscosity epoxy into the cracks, and then we slide basically that stitch you see in the upper left-hand corner there that gets pushed into the crack, and then we basically use a putty knife to smoothen out the epoxy, and now your crack will not move. Epoxy injection still can move. This stuff, it can't. And the difference in cost, one of those stitches is about $45 to install. So an average crack costs about maybe $250 versus about $500 to do it with epoxy. And again, much stronger. And so the cost is huge, and the ease of use, it's less intrusive, and the epoxies we use don't have off gases. So if you are extremely sensitive to chemicals in your house or you have young children, you don't have to worry about this stuff because there are no off gases to it. And so it's very environmentally friendly when it comes to that. Now, here's a new one in the carbon fiber industry. It's called Invisibeam. And so when I talked about before the types of repairs for lateral movement, which was the wall anchors, and there'll be a test on this, everybody. I expect you all to get perfect, okay? So you have the wall anchors, you have helical tiebacks, you have the counterforts, okay? All of those are extremely expensive. So I inspected a house yesterday where this was recommended and they went with it. But we did a cost comparison between wall anchors and this Invisibeam system. And so wall anchors for one wall was $12,400 for one 25-foot wall. This came out to $4,800, and it's 10 times stronger. So again, this is one of my big things that I'm really trying to look out for my customers. So what it is there's a small bracket. If you look in the upper left-hand corner, there's a small bracket that gets attached to the rib joist. And then at the bottom, there's a steel bracket that gets actually drilled and set in with epoxy into the actual footing of your foundation. And then the carbon fiber strap is attached to it, and then it's tightened down. And then you have the epoxy, which soaks into the substrate, and it has a 25-year warranty against any further movement. And so unfortunately, because a lot of our older buildings, and Bill, you probably have seen this, a lot of the older buildings have horizontal rebar only in the foundation. They didn't put any vertical. So when you had water building up on the outside of the foundation, it broke right in the middle. And it broke in fast. I've had situations where houses have actually been red tagged, and I've had to pick the house up, push the foundation back out again, and set the house back down on it, and then install, whatever the engineer had called out for. I mean, I did one in Arvada, and it was over $90,000 to make that happen. And so again, this is why I harp, clean your gutters, make sure your downspouts are extended, and do your grading. We are our worst enemy when it comes to our own homes and having problems. I mean, Mother Nature's offer meds. So, I mean, it's a free for all when it comes to the way our weather is, from going, like we noticed on Tuesday, extreme snow, wet, melted real fast. My phone's lit up like a Christmas tree the next morning saying, I've got water in my basement. All of a sudden, I'm noticing a big crack in my basement. It was probably already there, but you just became more aware of it when you noticed that the water was leaking into your foundation. And so that's a real big one. Now, because we do replace foundations, we have found a technology, and this is wonderful if you have a home in the mountains, because this product is fire retardant. It has a very high fire rating. So as you can see, like with the building that's here, by having a taller than normal foundation, you're actually providing yourself a safe zone in your building if you can't get away from a fire. And so it is a form. You basically build it like Lego blocks. You throw some rebar in it, you fill it up with a 4,500 PSI concrete. The beauty of it is I don't have to take the forms away. You have a nice bright wall and it stays in place. It's fully waterproofed. And then again, it has the fire retardant, no mold, mildew. If you've ever gone through one of the more modern car washes, you notice how bright white the walls is, that's what this is. And it's now come down in price for residential. And to give you an idea, so when I build a wall, it's typically about $89 to $99 a square foot to rebuild a foundation. That means tear out the old one and put a new one in. And this here, I can do it for $59. And if you take a 20 by 40 house and you figure out how much wall space is, that is a huge, huge savings. And if you have an older brick building where somebody has come in and dug out, in the crawl space to do whatever kind of work that they needed to do, a lot of times what they don't realize is they've compromised the red brick foundation, because the red brick foundation relies on a stable level of dirt all the way across. And when you excavate it out for whatever reason, you actually compromise the foundation. So we come in and we'll build secondary foundations in there. Now with this, you all of a sudden have gained a nice clean storage area underneath your home. And you don't have to worry about mold or mildew. And it's nice and bright, it's clean, and and extremely safe. So this is a wonderful product, and I go to what they call the World of Concrete show every year. I know that sounds really exciting, but it is the second largest trade show in Las Vegas, only to the Consumer Electronics Show. And typically about 300,000 people attend this event. And all this new technology that comes out there is just so phenomenal. And we really like it because we're able to bring stuff to the consumer at a much better price point. So there is one extra item, and I was unable to get the pictures. So interior drains right now are extremely expensive, but a lot of engineers are calling them out. We call them engineered drains versus traditional French drains because of the fact that you know, are installed around the what they call the cone of compression, which is that basically that it's like a pyramid that goes from underneath your foundation, and that's that load. And when you install a drain system on the inside of the house, if you have water coming up from underneath your foundation, you have the structural concern. A new drain company has come out where we're actually able now to install a drain and attach it to the side of the footing. So it's less invasive, it's less expensive, it's plastic, and so it won't deteriorate, it won't rot in the ground, nothing. You never have to service it. And it's very effective. The cost right now to install a traditional interior structural drain is about $139 a foot. To do this is about $75 a foot. So, and it's a lot less invasive. I don't have to cut up as much of your concrete floor as I normally would. And the nice thing is it doesn't have to be engineered or permitted, which typically saves about another $3,000. So those are big factors. And like I said, I'm constantly researching new technologies to help people afford foundation repairs. Now, one big thing with us is that when we go into a home, it's not a sales call. Okay, I hate that. I hate the fear mongering that goes on in our industry. If there's something wrong with your house, we'll show it to you. If it's nothing major, again, I'll use one of my famous cheesy lines, welcome to living in Colorado. You know, just because it's cracked doesn't always mean it's broken. And so we will tell you if there's something wrong. We'll show you how to fix it. We do complete design repairs, okay, in the field. We have AutoCAD in the field. And so we can do everything, and our pricing is all preset. So just, you know, your neighbor won't say, well, why did they get a better price than me? You know, it's always the same. It's always consistent with it. And the majority of our products come with a 25-year warranty. So that's a long way out with that. I'm Mike Schmidt. This is Underpinning the Rockies. And if you have questions, please ask away.
Actually, we're a little bit over time. So if you have
Oh, sorry.
questions, you're going to reach out to Mike. And how you do that is go to our website, www.bniarmy.com, and figure out from there how to get it. You go to the member page and then go to his information, and that's how you reach out to him. I want to thank you for coming out.